Good evening, everyone, and hello if you are watching this in the future. Welcome to tonight's all partner training session, all about summer selling and setting yourself up for sales success in the summer. I am delighted to be joined tonight by the brilliant Lucy and Anna, who were our Summer Sales Challenge winners from last summer. So they're here to share lots of tips and ideas to really set you up for summer selling success. I think often people feel like summer can be really tricky, or they write the summer off thinking it's really hard to sell in the summer, and they just so they don't do it. But hopefully tonight's session will show you that you absolutely can sell in the summer. You can absolutely sell brilliantly in the summer. And you absolutely should be doing this year's Summer Sales Challenge, which I'll talk more about in a minute. Lucy, would you mind letting people in while I talk initially, if anyone else comes into the waiting room?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's
Thank
fine.
you very much. So please do join in with the chat. People are always amazing in the chat with giving tips, ideas, suggestions. So please do comment along while I'm talking, and also while Lucy and Anna are talking, please do write down any questions you have, because then I'll ask all your questions to Lucy and Anna at the end of the session as well. So hopefully you'll leave this session full of ideas and confidence that you are going to do amazing things this summer and earn yourself lots of lovely commission from your sales. So I'm going to share my screen now, and talk to you about summer selling. So effective ways to sell in the summer. So firstly, if you are new, this is just a very brief overview, barely scratching the surface, to be honest, of all the different places you can sell, of which Anna and Lucy are going to go into a lot more detail, I'm sure, later. Please do put into the chat as I'm talking any weird, wonderful places that you have taken your books and enjoyed selling them at, because like I said, I will barely have scratched the surface with this list. So the most obvious, which I know lots of you will talk about, is schools and nurseries. The summer that we are now in, obviously, if you are based in the UK, schools are open a little bit longer than if you are based elsewhere. And when I'm saying UK, obviously Scotland, they close earlier, don't they? And Northern Ireland. But if you are lucky enough to live in sunny England, the schools are still open for quite a way through July. So for a lot of your summer, you can still be working with them. Private nurseries are open year-round, it seems, in all countries. So they are a year-round sales option for you. But don't write schools off for the summer, because the summer is when schools tend to spend their budgets on things like new fiction sets for the whole school, or they're replacing their dictionaries or their atlases, or they're buying up Bibles to give as leavers gifts. Whatever it might be, definitely don't write schools off for the summer, because it's prime time to get a direct order from them, or do an event and give them some end of year joy. I know people have had successful sports day events. I've seen brilliant author events right at the end of the school year. So definitely, maybe let year 6 SATs get out of the way and GCSEs get out of the way, but then approach the schools and make the most of that last selling opportunity of the school year. Baby and toddler groups, I know a lot of these don't always tend to run during the holidays, but they are perfect places where your perfect target audience are there, ready and waiting. The kids haven't told them they don't like books yet, and they're ready and waiting to give you their money in exchange for your amazing books. Leisure centres, people have so many good experiences doing regular pop-ups at leisure centres. So if you've got a local one, approach them. Hospitals, people have great success with hospitals. I have had the unfortunate experience of spending quite a lot of my life in hospitals, and to be honest, I'd have had a better experience if I'd been able to buy some books to keep me entertained while I was there. So again, don't rule those out. Fetes and fairs, summer is perfect for those, getting out and about in the sunshine or potentially rain with your books and just enjoying, everyone feeling happy that it's summer, there's bank holidays to enjoy. Soft plays, people take their books on there. Community fundraisers, if you want to put free books back into your community, it's worth looking at those. And the biggest tip is just wherever you are going, where do you go in your general day-to-day life? Do you have another job in an office? Can you take your books with you there? Do you have a child that does a judo club? Can you take your books along to the waiting room? Kerry, I can see in my screen, I believe she's used her car boot outside of school before. Wherever you are going, take your books with you. If you work in an office 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, you probably don't have a lot of opportunity to go out shopping and buying your books. So get involved, like take your books where you're going. If you're sat waiting for your child to do their dance club or judo or like Thai boxing or swimming or whatever it might be that they're doing, take your books with you, because there'll be other bored parents with bored children in the waiting room wanting to buy books from you. I would love to know in the comments, where is the weirdest place that you have taken your books and had success? I swear someone said water park in a call I had with them recently, which I thought was slightly controversial because books and water are not always the best mix, but they had success at a water park. So wherever you are going, take them with you and sell them. And there is a brilliant collection of videos made by partners on Tools and Downloads called the Getting Active series of videos. I do need to put up one which is great from that Anne Crox has just done for me about hospitals, but there are videos for all sorts of different events that partners are doing, talking about how they do them, how they got the events in the first place, what they take to sell, what works well for them. And they're just brilliant. They're nice and short, easy to watch, and I highly recommend having a look at them and trying out a new sales channel that you haven't tried before and seeing if you like it and if it works well for you. As always, your job as a seller is to focus on what people need. So your job is to solve people's problems. So whatever they tell you, your job is to find the perfect book for them. There's loads of studies on how so many people are really anxious about bookshops. I personally love a bookshop, but there's loads of studies about how people find them really overwhelming because there's so much choice and there's no one there to help them navigate the choice. And this is why you guys are so important, because you can help people navigate the whole range of books to work out what is going to work for them, their child, and what is going to interest them and their child. So your job is to find out what people need, and this might change as each month approaches. There might be something different that people are needing. I've just got a few examples. So schools at the moment, what do they need? They need their new sets of fiction that you can offer them at a vastly cheaper rate than anyone else can. They might want to replace their atlases, their dictionaries, their thesauruses, their language books. They might want some new books for their school library. They will have ring-fence budgets that they will, if they're anything like the schools I've been in, be panic spending at the end of the school year, and they will think that Amazon is the cheaper option. It's 100% not. It's you guys with the 60% in free books that you can offer them. They might want leavers gifts. Loads of Church of England schools give Bibles as leavers gifts. I think I got a dictionary when I left primary school. Please do comment in the chat with what you got when you left primary school, if you can remember. But again, they can buy those things from you. So let them pay you for the things that they are looking for. I know people have had success with transition books when children start year 7. The new secondary school gives them all a book, they all read the book, and then they can talk about it and it connects them when they start the school year. Again, our class sets are amazing value. You could be the person to provide them with however many books they need for their new cohort of year 7. And capitalize on those end of year celebrations, pop up at a sports day, get an author event booked in. Lots of schools do, particularly secondary schools, do the where they drop the timetable for the last few weeks of term. And I've seen quite a lot of author events happening then. So why not you be the person to offer them the author event and sell them books on top of that? And obviously free books, they are after free books, because some of them have money to spend on books, some of them don't. And this is where you come in, or you just make their money go so much further. Parents, what are they after at this time of year? If you are a parent or you have any parents in your life, ask them what they are after. Are they after holiday reads for their children, nice fiction? Are they after non-fiction to support their children's interests, whatever those might be? If you are relatively new, Osborne is an amazing non-fiction publisher. That's what we started as, and the range of non-fiction is absolutely phenomenal. There is a book on anything your child could possibly be interested in. There is a book on it. So maybe that's what they're looking for to engage them in the summer. Summer slide is a classic concern, isn't it? We've got so many workbooks to help with that. We've got loads of reading scheme books to help with that. So again, what are the concerns for this time of year? Activity books. We've got loads of those, sticker books, crosswords, word searches, 365 things to make and do, puzzles and games to keep them busy. I like to call them sanity savers, or as I do, panic purchases for my children when we're traveling, to try and keep myself sane on a plane. So what is small, portable? We've got loads of books that are super, super affordable for parents to take with them on holiday to save their sanity on any mode of transport. And don't forget, parents are people too. Maybe they want an amazing YA fiction title for themselves in the vague hope they might get to read a book on holiday, rather than actively watching their children to make sure they're up to no good, not make sure they're up to no good. There are so many things that they could want. That is your job to find out what they want, what they need, and how you can do that for them. Don't forget about gifts all year round. Everyone has a birthday at some point. There will be people with birthdays in the summer that might want gifts. So don't forget about birthday gifts that you can offer, the endless parties that your kids get invited to where they need to take a present with them. I'm sure parents would be happier for their child receiving a book rather than some plastic for their birthday. New babies, when people are always keen to buy them presents. People always never bought my children books. And I think that's because I work in publishing, so they actively avoided buying my children books, but I'd have really appreciated people buying my children books. So I think it's a great present for any new babies. People go on the teacher gift bandwagon, don't they? We've got very active class reps in my daughter's class WhatsApp group. Not me, I hasten to add. I'm more of a contributor than a planner. But teacher gifts, YA fiction is brilliant. And there was this nice thing on the UCP's Facebook page actually about how many, the percentage of YA readers that actually are adults, really high. So people are reading YA. Teachers would enjoy those too. Holiday treats, clubs, anytime you've passed a swimming badge, you've gone up a level in reading. My daughter cons me out of many things. Your child's been star of the week. But yeah, don't forget the good old gift market that goes on year round. So hopefully that will show you there are opportunities all year round. The summer is no exception to that at all. People always need and want books. It's just the books that they are wanting and needing might be different at different points of the year. I had a browse on the Usborne website just at all the new fiction that is out or coming out in the summer. And there is so much amazing fiction. I feel like people like different fiction at different times of year. And the summer for me is all about your easy read rom-coms and your adventure books. There are so many different books. Just go for what you like, what you enjoy. And the biggest tip for fiction, I would say, which I'm sure most of you would agree with that have been with us for a while, is read it. You'll sell the ones that you've read and you've enjoyed. So try and have a variety. So read a middle grade adventure story, read a YA rom-com. Billy and the Mini Monsters, Monsters at the Zoo will take you approximately 5 minutes to read. So you're not going to need to sit down for ages to get through those ones, but try and have a few in mind that are young fiction that you can sell, that are middle grade adventure types that you can sell. And also don't shy away from the YA because they're great for adults as much as anyone else to read and enjoy. And yeah, the Usborne website, just going on books and it lists the newest in, is great just to have a good old browse at what you like the look of and therefore what you want to have on your stalls. Non-fiction, I've gone down the activity books and the summer slide route, but again, these are just some of the ones that came up higher up on the website search. You've got your classic sticker dolly dressing books that always go down so well. My daughter absolutely adores those books, can't get enough of them. And I know they're the same for everyone else. The build your own sticker books are almost like the less feminine alternative to those, and again, super popular. Magic painting all year round, that goes really well. Colouring books, there's loads of make and do activity books. I particularly enjoy the spy activity ones. Nature spotting guides, if people are feeling a little bit more wholesome with their children, they want to get them out and about enjoying nature, at least you've got a handy book to help you with that. There's loads of fab non-fiction, puzzle books, and for those parents concerned about summer slide, the workbooks are fab as well, and they're super good value for money. I think I like the writing ones better than the wipe cleans, but everyone's got their own opinions on which ones they prefer. But just as, particularly if you're newer, just have a good browse on the website and look at what you like, what you would buy, what people in your life would buy, and choose those ones to take to your events and share with your customers. Final thing I want to talk about before I pass over to Lucy and Anna is the summer sales challenge for this year. So this is different to the one last year. The one last year was harder. So when you're listening to Lucy and Anna, what they did was phenomenal because it was a lot of sales that they had to do, but they did it, and they did it brilliantly. This is less than half of what they had to do. So if they can do that, you can 100% do this. And I think all of you should go for the summer sales challenge. So what is it? There are 3 different levels to the summer sales challenge. The first one, level 1, is to sell £500 of books in June, July and August, and you will earn yourself a festive pack of books. Where's this gone? Goodbye. Sorry, I'm clicking on one thing and I'm ending up with another one. So you'll win a festive pack of books. You'll get that festive pack of books in September. So just ready for you to, you're shattered because you'll all sold so many books in the summer, but then you need to get back onto your Christmas selling as well. The other thing that I think is important to note is you will earn at least £300 in commission if you sell £500 of books in each of those months, if there's orders were for schools, or £360 if they were for party sales. That's a lot of money, particularly if you are, I don't know, saving for Christmas now, or maybe you're going on holiday in the summer and you want to have some extra money to treat yourself or your family with. Have a think about what you would use that money for, because you absolutely can sell the amount of books to earn you that money. If you feel happy to share, please comment in the chat about what you would spend £300 on this summer. What would you use that money for? And then obviously you've then got your fun pack of books to have at all your events as well to get even more orders. Level 2 is to double that. So to sell £1,000 of books in June, July and August. Last year's summer sales challenge was £1,200 of books. So this is less than that. So all the tips from Lucy and Anna are going to really propel your sales way beyond this, because don't forget, if you sell £1,200 of books, you get an extra 2% in commission on your sales. So that's even more money for you. So it's important, don't place an order for 1,150, try and find that extra £50 of books, because you really deserve that extra commission. So sell £1,000 of books in June, July and August. You will get the festive pack of books, and you will be in with a chance to win one of 3 pairs of tickets for the community festival in January 2025. So you can take any Usborne friend of your choice to community festival, which I think is super exciting to treat you and one of your Usborne friends. If you do sell that amount of books, you'll have earned at least £600 in commission if you placed schools orders, or £720 if you place party orders. So have a think again, what would you spend £600 on, or what would you spend £720 on? What would that get you? So you could be walking away with £720, a festive pack of books and a pair of tickets for the community festival, which super, super exciting. That's not all. Level 3. If you are one of the top 3 sellers for that time period, so this will be adding up your total sales for June, July and August, you win a VIP place at October's Leadership Academy at Tortworth Court Hotel. So that is a night away with a room all to yourself, all your meals, lots of amazing training, lots of inspiring people to meet. You'll also get the festive pack of books, and you could also win the pair of tickets to the community festival. So super, super exciting and completely within your control to achieve this summer. Please give a thumbs up, excited wave, some kind of reaction if you are going to be going for the summer sales challenge. Thank you very much. I can see some waves. Thank you. That's what I'm all about. So I'm now going to hand over to Anna and Lucy. Lucy, I might hand over to you first so I can track Anna down and make her a co-host as well to share a bit about their summer selling and their tips and ideas for this year. I know Lucy has got many ideas planned already for this summer sales challenge that she is going to share with you all. So over to you, Lucy.
So good evening, everyone. I hope everyone can hear me okay. I'm so excited to be on this training. I think when I found out I was coming on, I was like, oh my gosh, okay. So excited to be here. But basically, it all boiled down to this incredible trip that I've just come back from, which is absolutely amazing. Since coming back, my mindset for my business has changed massively. I think I was chatting to Lucy in Lake Como about it. Before this summer challenge, I'd only ever got sales of £1,200 around World Book Day, and probably the month after that and the month following on from that. But since coming back, I hope to hit that a lot more now. I've pretty much hit personal sales bonus, I think, nearly every month so far this year. So having that incentive has really increased my confidence to push my mindset to work smarter, to work harder, and just to get in as many sales as I can. It has increased my confidence massively. As I said beforehand, I hadn't really got sales that high, only around World Book Day. So the challenge was really great for me. So how did I go about doing it? So the first thing I did was, I was really excited to know that Italy was on the cards. It's somewhere that I'd always wanted to go. I think people love Italy. They love the culture. They love the food. It just sounded amazing. So apart from the fact that it was a country of choice, Melanie always, she kind of encouraged me to give it a go, and I'm always up for new challenges anyway. So I put an action plan into place. I already had lots of stalls planned over the summer anyway, but I stepped it up. I thought, generally my stalls generate between anything from £80 to £100, but to rely on stalls for the whole summer, I would have had to do an awful lot of stalls. So I did lots of stalls, as many as I could. I did lots in schools. I did lots with nurseries, community events. And then when I generated around £600, I just needed that final push to get me up to 1,200. So I then thought about sending off lots of emails to schools, which I did. And I heard back from a school 20 miles away from me to run a Ready, Steady, Read. And they raised just over £700. So I was really chuffed by that. That was my £1,200 in the bag. So obviously that was massive for me. I do work as well. I'm a pastoral support lead in a primary school. So this is something that I do alongside my work as well. I've got a busy family. Husband does shift work in the police. I've got 2 boys, so it's really busy. But to make that work around such a busy school life and family life is great. It's really great. It shows that I really wanted it. And, I went for it. So I got that in July and I was spurred on for August. So I then put a new plan into place. And I thought, how can I possibly build that volume for August? So again, I booked in lots more stalls. I knew there wasn't going to be as many stalls in August as there were in July. So I went about going for a community book pledge. So for those that are not aware, it's sending emails or approaching businesses and getting them to sponsor schools or other areas for books. I sent off only 4 emails. I heard back from my second one from a huge housing developer, and they agreed to sponsor £600 to a local school I used to work in. So having got £600 in from my stalls in August and £600 from the community book pledge, I was really chuffed to have finally got that £1,200. But I had to work. Obviously, I had to have a plan B in place. I knew that the stalls wouldn't carry me through the summer. I had to put email schools, I had to email nurseries, I had to get a community book pledge in place. But being brave and being consistent and sticking to the plan really paid off. So the £1,200 was achieved in July and August. I obviously then got entered into the draw. When the draw happened, I was at work. I'd actually completely forgotten it was taking place. And then I was at home. I got home and I had about 4 or 5 or a million missed calls from Melanie. I thought, what is going on? She never calls me. What's this all about? And she said I'd won. And I could not believe it. I think I was either screaming down the phone to her or I don't know what I was doing. My son was in tears because he just wanted to come. But when I look back on that, I remember going over to a summer holiday to Bruges in the summer and saying to the family in the car, you know, I could be going. My husband said, you're not going to go on that trip. And I said, well, I've got a good chance. So when I actually won, it was just absolutely incredible. As I said, my mindset has changed massively since being able to push now for that £1,200 in July and in August and knowing I can do that. The sky's the limit really. And I've come back now and I've got book fairs planned in for next week. I've got book fairs planned in for June, getting booked up for World Book Day. It's just taken it to a whole new level. And the trip was absolutely incredible. I just wanted to share with you a few little things that we were given. So we were given such a wonderful little passport before we went, just to build the excitement even more. And this was more exciting than my passport, I'd have to say. And in here was the itinerary of what we did day on day. Lucy, you'll probably remember this. I lived in this 24/7, our gorgeous Lake Como t-shirt as well. So that was one of the mementos we were given. We were given some herbal tea, if you choose to have that. I still haven't had mine, haven't been brave enough to yet. And I think one of the best things was given this gorgeous little Lindt chocolate train on the train around the Swiss Alps. But I've come back from that trip. I've made the most incredible friends. I'm looking to meet up with some of them again in another country. And it's the mindset it's given me is absolutely incredible. So I'd urge anyone to give that a go. If I can do that around such busy home life, around a really busy job in a school and, not being used to sales like that, apart from World Book Day, then definitely anyone can.
Thank you, Lucy. And
Okay.
can you tell us, so if you were a new partner and this was your first summer, how do you go about booking into stalls? Like, where do you look to find them? Which ones do you go for that you think will be good?
Yeah, of course. So it took me a while to get in, but basically what I keep an eye on is obviously Facebook. Facebook always advertises lots of school events that are coming up. You can also go into schools and ask them. You can email the PTAs. But sometimes if I see adverts on Facebook advertising for summer events, that's what I've done this year. I've just sent them an email. And there's so many that want to have us along. There's really, at the minute, I've got so many to manage myself. But yeah, that's what I do. I keep an eye on Facebook and just send them an email. It's quite great, and or a little message, and that they love having us along.
And how much stock would you usually take to a stall that you were doing?
So I take quite a lot, I would have to say. If you're doing a primary event, I also take books for smaller children as well, just to cover their siblings. You don't always have to have an awful lot. If you're just starting out, you can just take your starter books. You can also have your catalogue to supplement what you've got as well. And if you've been a partner for a while, you can pick and choose, however much you want to take based on the ages of the children, based on the store, whether it's a community event, whether it's a toddler group. Yeah, so as much as you would like, really.
And your fetes and fairs, those kind of events, how many books would you sell on average at those events, do you think?
So normally it could be anything from £80 up to maybe 250, I would say, has been the most I've done. That's why for the summer challenge, I wanted to make sure that I had a plan B in place with a CPD and a reading event, just to cover in case I hadn't met that in sales.
So you had multiple different options. So you knew you were going to have your in-person events that you would go to and you'd take your books to, and you had a school and you had a community book pledge as well. So you'd kind of covered all bases.
Yeah, I think it's just making sure you've got that volume in your head that, if you go to a store and maybe you only get maybe 40, £50 or maybe 60, 70 up to 200, it's just making allowances for those stores that you wouldn't get as much for and supplementing that with other events. And it's just being open and just giving it a go. And I got, the the reading event sponsored over £600, which was great, and also the community book pledge as well. So they were wonderful volumes to help alongside the stalls.
And which books would you say you would always take to your events? What are your favourites?
I would say I really love, for toddlers, Noisy Diggers. They absolutely love that. And I really love any of the sticker books. I really enjoy the Sticker Dolly books are really great. But there's so many, isn't there? So many new releases as well that are incredible at the minute. I love the little baby with the flaps, the little blankets. That's a really great one. But they're my main choices at the minute, and the ones that I know the customers come along and obviously really love.
And what's your plan for this summer to hit those sales volumes? What events have you got booked in?
So I've come back, and normally I wouldn't have booked so many events in around school. However, I've come back and I've wanted to completely squeeze the diary in. So next month I've got a book fair for Tuesday, and I've got my first summer stall on Saturday, and then I've booked in another book fair for the 6th of June. And I've got some reading events planned in as well, and stalls throughout the summer. So not just the stalls, I've got reading events and also sponsored listening events running with nurseries that are open all year round as well, because it's really good to target them, the ones that are still open when obviously schools are shut down.
Thank you so much, Lucy. If you've got any questions for Lucy, can you add them into the chat? And I'm going to hand over to Anna now to share her experience of the Summer Sales Challenge last year, how she did it, and then her tips and ideas for achieving the challenge this year. So any questions, do put them in the chat and I will ask Lucy and Anna the questions at the end. Thank you so much, Lucy. Over to Anna.
Hi, hope you can hear me all okay. Yeah, thanks. So yeah, I'm Anna. I've had my bookshop business since October 2022, when my little boy was just 6 months old. I've been casting my mind back to last year's summer and reflecting on my experience and how I found it all. So last year, my World Book Day did not go to plan. I'll put my hands up to that. It was not what I wanted to do. So I was literally ready to throw myself into the next challenge and just have a great summer with it and see what I could achieve. So yeah, like you said before, last year's summer's challenge was a little bit different. There was 2 months that were completely achievable just to become active, and then the 2 months that was going to be a real push for me and my business. And to be honest, at first it seemed completely out of reach, but I went for it. So I achieved it with a mixture of summer stalls. So I had lots of new events and lots of regular events. So similar to Lucy, it was kind of your schools, your nurseries, basically anywhere, community centres, kids' fun days, old people's homes. I was literally signing up here, there and everywhere for anything and everything. And yeah, for me, the stalls did really good. So I do find the majority of mine on Facebook or just chatting with other stall holders, maybe going around making friends, follow them on Facebook, see what events they're signed up to, have a good chat with them if you think anything would be suitable. That's always a really good way to get in, speak to the people who've already been there and done it. I think what helped me personally from my success was wind-up books. If you know me, I'm a massive wind-up book fan. I literally fell in love with the wind-up books that summer. I mean, I probably could have just gone to stalls and sold them. That might be my plan for this summer now. They just sell time and time again. People absolutely love them. They've never seen them before. I get them open front and center on my stall, and I just literally stand there all day winding up these little cars and planes and buses and trains and letting them whiz around, because you literally never know who's going to be watching. And they just sell themselves. I sold Santa in August. Literally thought, I've got no other wind-ups, I'm just going to have to put this one in, and he literally flew out. So it's never too early to start selling Christmas books. They're just so popular. I absolutely love them. And also being a relatively new partner and with having a little one, I really struggled with the fiction books. I'd never read them before. I hadn't seen them. And Lucy, I know we've spoke about this before, but I do have a little pop-up bookmark that I place into each book, and I just have it on display on my stand. It's just got the recommended age that I've got from the website and the price. And I also, if it is a series, I will maybe put like number 1, number 2, number 3 to help me. It helped build my confidence. So if people ask, because it was the first question people would ask, oh, what age range is this for? And rather than saying, oh, I don't know, I'm not sure, having to look it up, which is totally fine. It was just a really help to me, and it really helps people now. I get lots of feedback from customers saying, oh, that's really helpful. I do let them know it's a little bit of a guide. It really does depend on people's reading abilities. But for me, it really helps. And I know then I've got a good range of books across all the different age ranges, because I can see them all displayed, and they were just little pieces of cardboard I got off of eBay. And then when I sell the book, I swap it out for a little Osborne bookmark and pop it back in as well as a little add-on. So that's something that really helped me get to know my fiction books. It definitely helped improve my fiction sales. And so yeah, it's something I've continued to do now. It's just my little tip that I like to do. Also, what really helped me was my mentor and the team. I found together we were sort of a really great source of encouragement. We helped shared tips and goals and what we were going to achieve, weekly check-ins. I found really helpful. Volume mapping, so we could see where we were going to get all the volume map from. And it was great seeing other people achieve it as well, to show you that it was possible and achievable. And then for me personally, it got a little bit competitive along the way, which also helped boost, because it's nice to see other people doing what I thought was unachievable. And the incentive really helped me push my business to the next level, where I was probably before happy with just, maybe being active every month. It definitely gave me a little bit of fire in my belly to definitely want to achieve more. For me, some of my bestsellers obviously were the wind-ups and the Don't Tickle books. I absolutely love those. I think it's the really interactive books. It's the books where, because obviously everyone can buy books online, but I think to see them, to touch them, to feel them, to hear the noises that they make, the reaction from the children and the parents, I absolutely love. So I would say definitely don't shy away from some of the higher priced books. And you can always get them as your freebies or as your half price if you're having an event. I always tack on those ones, and also like Lucy said, the noisy books, magic wands, anything with lights and sounds, anything just bright, colourful, noisy, interactive, I love. And the adventure game books as well, I found worked really well for me. Absolutely love them. I like you said, read them myself. I always seem to die within the first 5 minutes. I'm obviously not very good, but absolutely love those books as well. Again, getting them out, showing people that they're the game books. People overhear me talking about the books, and I think a lot of parents like them as well, because they're really vintage and it's something they might have read as a child as well. My advice would be start planning now. A lot of these events are being advertised. People are filling up their diaries. Definitely start getting in there, getting them booked in where you can. Set yourself a goal for each event. Again, like Lucy said, if you know you want to try and achieve £500, you've got 10 events, you can set yourself an easy target just to see how it's going. I'm gonna get Christmas books out, I think, towards the end of the summer, and see how those go. And yeah, speak to other stall holders, and always look for events that I think you would take your children to. So if there's a character, a Cinderella meet and greet, or a Peppa Pig, or a Spider-Man, a lot of these places are doing like the reptiles as well, where you can like hold a snake or something. So I always pop on a few reptile books just to make sure I'm catering to that need if people are going to see the snakes. If there's a bouncy castle, or there's going to be an ice cream van, I think if you would want to take your kids to it, then it's probably going to be a great event for kids. although I do find the old people's home, I did have quite a good success there, but I think mainly for grandkids.
Can you tell us a bit more about how you got into the old people's home and what you did there, Anna? Because there's been a few questions about how you worked with them.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. So it was actually through another stallholder. She did like a summer, they had like an open day. So one of them was through another stallholder. She recommended me. So I contacted the owner. And I think there was just a small fee to pay. And we ended up sort of like with a table in the corridor. And it was, yeah, for the residents to shop. A lot of the staff were shopping, and then they were sort of had grandkids in. They had a bit of a raffle going. They had some live music. So that was really good. And another one that I did was sort of in the car park, and they had like a vintage band, a vintage tea party. Again, with all the family and kids sort of coming along as well. So yeah, I would definitely say, yeah, contact them, look out for them on Facebook. Because yeah, I had some success there, which was good.
And what's your plan for this summer's sales challenge? What have you got booked in, or what do you know that you are going to book in to do it?
Yeah, so I've got lots of summer pop-ups already booked in. One of my best events was it's the local helicopter museum, which is really good. They have a dinosaur event on, so anything helicopter or dinosaur related. I got that booked in last Christmas because I know that's really good. And just booking in. I mean, to be honest, a lot of them are now sort of coming to me because I worked with them last year, which is really great. But I do have some new ones booked in as well. Just looking on kind of Facebook and speaking to other stallholders.
And question to both of you, but Anna first, as you're talking, I think you touched upon, like, you didn't think the £1,200 was achievable, did you, last year? What would you say to other people that are feeling, so obviously this one, the first target is 500, which hopefully seems much more achievable, but I imagine there are some people thinking, I usually sell £120 a month, like 500 is a big jump up from that. What would you say to people that are kind of doubting themselves about going for it?
Yeah, sure. So I definitely say maybe speak to your mentor, speak to your team. Volume mapping's really good. So if you you want to do the £500, but you've only got one event booked in, it might be worth, like maybe like Lucy said, doing a sort of a community book pledge or a sponsored read or something on the back of that, just to top that volume up. If you're not confident, maybe getting out and doing the pop-ups.
And what would an average, like, what would a month look like for you? So how many events would you do? When would you do them? Like, how do you spend your time with your selling?
Yeah, so I tend to do weekend events. I just love squeezing in as many as I can. I'm quite lucky that I can do that with childcare. I try and keep them quite local, so I'm not doing too much traveling. And then, moving on to the summer, there are more sort of during the week in the summer holidays, which is quite nice, just to break it up a little bit.
Thank you very much. And Lucy, same question to you. What would you say to people who feel like it's not achievable for them to sell that volume of books? And what does a typical week look like for you with selling, or typical months?
So I would just, absolutely go for it. As I said, the 1,200 before, I only would have seen those kind of figures around World Book Day. And like Anna, some months it would have been active, slightly more. But yeah, it's just been really brave. Just applying for as many stalls as you can possibly squeeze in around family, around work. And if you don't want to do so many stalls, you can try out the reading events with schools, or sponsored events with nurseries, community book pledge. For me, because I'm working, I normally work every evening on my business, I would say, in the night. But stalls wise, I do work with franchises, so I get out with those as and when. But mainly it's just lots of stalls in the summer and at Easter and at Christmas. But mainly, I focus my business at the minute with schools and nurseries, and I seem to really love that as well, because I work in education as well.
Does anyone have any questions for Anna and Lucy about how you can achieve more sales, like what they would suggest if you, I don't know, maybe have tried anything before and it didn't work and you want advice on like what to do next time, if you want advice on your stalls, or if you've tried working with schools and that hasn't worked for you? There's no such thing as a stupid question. If you're thinking it, someone else is 100% thinking it. So does anyone have any questions? I know we've got a question, actually. I'll ask this to Anna and Lucy. I'm not sure how this would work massively. Has anyone tried selling in libraries? I'm not massively sure how well that would work, because if you're going to a library, I guess selling to the library themselves, maybe like a school, but I would say it's probably not the best use of your time. I think you'd be better trying to sell to a school library than an actual library. Anna and Lucy are nodding. We have had a question from Nikki, which is, how do you persist in responses from those you've reached out to? So I guess maybe that's a question about follow-ups. So how many times would you contact someone before you give up? Anna, what are your thoughts?
I definitely, always follow up. Definitely, always worth a follow up. You never know if that message has landed, at the wrong time in their inbox, or if they're busy, or if it's gone into their junk. So definitely a follow up. Definitely one, maybe two, maybe three. Depends. If you know it's going to be right for you, and you can make a difference, or you could make some sales, I would definitely keep going until I got that hard no.
I think Anna's point's really key about, like, it might have landed at the wrong time for them. They could have completely missed it, or you're just not on their radar at that moment, but you might be later on. So it's not a personal thing unless they actively tell you not to contact them again, or they're not interested. It's not a personal thing. It just might have been lost in their inbox. It might have gone into their junk. It might have been the wrong time for them to receive that email, and they're just not thinking about it. Lucy, you're obviously work in education. You've worked in a lot of different roles in education, haven't you?
I have, yeah. So I started off in teaching in secondary, and then in primary, and I've stayed in primary now, but I do more of a pastoral role, so working with children with their emotions, with things that are going on at home, regulating their emotions, all sorts, really, yeah. And I do understand how busy schools are. I always try and follow up to chase them. If it's a no now, it doesn't mean it's a no forever. Only recently I sent an email and I heard back from them 2 months later, and they wanted to book me in for World Book Day for next year and organise a fair for next month. And that was just from sending an email and just them being busy. And they always apologise for being busy. So it's always them being busy. It's not necessarily that they're not interested at all.
Yeah, so a really good tip there. And I'm sure lots of you have had similar experiences where you've had to contact a school. Schools, I think, tend to be the worst one. Do you find, Anna and Lucy, that schools will reply to you? So if you've seen an advert for like a summer fete or fair on Facebook and you've emailed them, they will reply to you?
Yeah, definitely.
It's schools that seem to be the ones that you've got to do a bit more chasing. But then, as you heard from Lucy, the sales from a school tend to be much higher, so it is worth your effort of continuing to chase them. We've had a question about, does anyone know the best way to get more people on your Facebook pages or Instagram? I know you two are more kind of in-person sellers, aren't you? And you prefer getting out and about with your books.
For me personally, I think go and follow other people. So for Instagram, for example, I might do like a hashtag and put my local town in, and then I can find all the local businesses. If I do something for the local business, I might tag it in, and just be really active, putting nice comments in, like looks amazing, or want to come and visit. I find that really helps me locally to find these local venues. And kind of use the hashtags a little bit creatively, and probably the same for Facebook as well. Just making sure I comment on lots of people, and people will be like, oh, who are you, and hopefully come click on my page because they've seen me comment on everything everywhere. And then hopefully, yeah, people will start following me back. That's always the always the plan.
Thank you, that was super helpful. Anna, Lucy, do you have any tips on increasing your social media following?
Yeah, that's interesting actually, because Kerry ran a session recently on making your social media sparkle, which was incredible. Because I found, for me, with my book page, it wasn't getting as many, followers and engagement as I could. So I had been doing it as well, but I've added to that. So I've been following all my local schools and nurseries that I run events with, and I make sure that, obviously tag them on the end if I do events, but also comment on their Facebook pages as well. My son's nursery, I'm commenting on there, and that, increases awareness, which is great. But yeah, just adding people as you go, having your little QR code on your slips out of your stalls for people to click on and be able to follow as well, your bookshop. And yeah, I think it's, it's all about that engagement as well, making yourself more present and more out there with lots of different varieties of groups.
And I think the thing with social, it seems obvious, but it's the clues in the title. Like, it's social media, and social media rewards people that are social, that are commenting, engaging, liking, reacting, following. So the more social you are, the more social other people are. But it's not, social media is not a quick and instant thing, and it is something that you've got to be persistent in working to grow that following. And I would say, if you want instant sales success, social media is not where you will find that instant sales success. It should be more kind of, it is going to be a slower thing to grow, and some people have incredible success with it, but I think the majority of our best sellers, in fact probably all of our best sellers, would say the majority of their sales don't come from online. They come from physically being out and about with the books, because you can get books anywhere online, whereas you can't just go and see and experience and touch and interact with a book online like you can in person. Like the wind-ups, we are the sales division that sell the most of them, and it's obviously because you can display them in person, which you just wouldn't see on Amazon. You would have no idea about how great they are. And yeah, 500, how many wind-ups? Yeah, you've got to sell like, what, 25-30, depending on the cost of them, to get that £500 of sales. Which, Anna, how many have you sold at most and at one event? What's the most you've done?
I think it's 12. Wow. Only because that's all, I didn't take enough.
Which is pretty much halfway to that £500 target at one event. So definitely super possible. Question about, how do you get the community book pledge people on board? Lucy, you had great success with that housing company. What did you say to them?
So I'm sure we've got a template on tools and downloads, which I got off of there, and I just personalized it. And I actually only sent about 4 emails, and it was the second one that I'd heard, which obviously jumped on board with sponsorship, which was amazing. And they wanted to sponsor £600 to a school that I'd left 2 or 3 years ago. And as a result, they got an extra £360 on top. So they came away with nearly £1,000 worth of books. So yeah, I think the template is all on there. So I sent them an email, introduced who I was, what I wanted to achieve for the school. And once they were on board, they then brought along their little PR company, which then was amazing for promoting business as a whole, but also the school out in the community. And that will then drive more schools, into Usborne, which is incredible.
So yeah, so you made the most of the whole opportunity. And again, that's that social element, that one thing spirals and leads to another, like Anna was talking about as well, with all the events. You never know who you're going to meet at an event that can tell you about another event, or that might want to buy from you again. Anna, do you have any CBP tips of what you say to people? Have you had any luck with any community book pledges?
I did, yes. I've had a community book pledge. I did what I've done 2 actually previously with a school that sadly had a huge fire, and the classrooms and everything sadly perished. Everyone was fine. It happened at the weekend. So they had to rebuild. And then I got the money from a local football club, did a fundraiser, and the money came from them. And I also did a small one for my local hospital, to get books into the waiting room, and that started up quite a good relationship, because it turned out that there was loads of areas of the hospital that actually needed books. And that was from a housing development company as well. So they're definitely worth tapping up. Just speak to lots of different businesses, I think would be key, just to see who wants to donate.
And I think, yeah, really interesting your point about the football club. I do think they're a massively untapped market, like your local football and rugby clubs. I'm not talking like your Chelsea or Man United's, but just your like grassroots football or rugby club, that actually a lot of them do their own summer events as well. So it would be great for you to have a pop-up there and yeah, build those relationships. Because again, it's a different type of person that you might be meeting at those events that you wouldn't necessarily meet elsewhere. So I think, yeah, sometimes it is the places you wouldn't think of, like your old people's home. I think you've got people on that, but everyone needs books taking to them somewhere. There's I'm trying to think if there's any. Okay, yeah, people are having a similar experience with local village football teams. We have only got a few minutes left. Does anyone have any final questions for Lucy and Anna about things that, yeah, maybe you've thought about but haven't ever asked before, or any kind of final tips you want to get from them of really how to maximize those sales opportunities? And also, please do share in the comments what your plans are for the summer. What have you got booked? If you're going for the summer sales challenge, which hopefully every single person on this call is, where are you going to get those sales? What have you booked? What are you planning on booking? And yeah, where are you going to get those sales? Or where are you now planning on trying that you haven't considered before? Final question then for Kerry, and please do type away in the chat, where are you taking your books this summer? And yeah, is there anything more rogue that you're going to try now? So Kerry's question is, what tips do you have for when things aren't going your way? Really good question. How do you motivate yourself to keep going, Anna?
That's a good question. Thanks, Kerry. Definitely, I think speak to your mentor, have a chat with your team, sit down, maybe re-plan it out, see what events you've got booked in, have a good think about maybe what's worked before, what hasn't worked. Try and maybe see if you can squeeze in anything else. If you've got any more time, if there's any more events going on, or maybe have a chat with some of your event holders, see if they've got anything coming up.
And Anna, I presume you've had events that have been terrible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it happens to everyone. And what do you think about those events? Like, how do you turn that into a positive?
Yeah, so it does happen. That's the thing with some of the pop-ups. You don't ever really know how you're going to go. I always take my prize draw slips and I'll go around and speak to all the stall holders, because if I'm twiddling my thumbs, they're twiddling their thumbs. Go and have a chat, see if they want to fill out some prize draw slips, get them chatting. Normally they've got a story to tell you about Osborne books. They used to sell them, or they used to work in a nursery, or they remember the Farmyard Tales. Just go and have a chat with people, speak to what events they've maybe got coming up, grab their business cards. You can follow them on Facebook. Or if it's, grab one of the fiction books and start reading it.
Thank you, Anna. That was super helpful. And Lucy, same for you. Like, how do you keep yourself motivated? And also, if you've had a bad event, what have you learned from it and how have you turned it around?
So it's just keeping yourself motivated. I think it's having that end goal in mind and knowing that when you can achieve it, it's incredible. So the confidence I had knowing that I could get £1,200 in July and August, which I've never done before, has been brilliant. But obviously having that plan B. So for me, I knew that I wouldn't be able to get it through stalls that I'd booked. So I obviously had, the school event that I could rely on and the community book pledge as well. So it's having things in place. I've had a few dire events. Well, one of them, I think I'd been there for maybe 3 or 4 hours. It was my local school, only sold 2 or 3 books. But I made sure that I spoke to the literacy lead at the end of the day. And as a result, I got a reading event out of it, and I now work with them every year, and they're getting over £700 each time they run the event. So a good thing came out of something that wasn't so great at the time, which is incredible.
Thank you, that's super helpful. So yeah, if you are newer on this call and you have a bad event, your events aren't all going to be like that. And yeah, if it's going badly and it's quiet, make the most of the time to do something else and find out who you can meet and who you can talk to and take that opportunity. Great advice about talking to your mentor. I know people sometimes feel like they're pestering their mentor and they don't want to, but your mentor's job is to mentor you. It is their job to be pestered by you. So you're not pestering them. They want to hear from you. They don't like being ignored by you. So talk to them, reach out to them, ask them the questions. Your questions aren't stupid. They've probably had the same question themselves in the past. So use them, because it is their job to help you share ideas, bounce ideas off each other, and come up with lots of different ways to sell the books. Massive thank you to all of you who have been commenting away in the chat. There are so many ideas there for people to take away of all the different things they can do in the summer. Interesting, yeah, Kirsty, you've mentioned about 2 author events that you've been asked for before the end of the year. So don't write off schools just yet. Don't think as well book day's done and dusted. They are done and dusted. They're very much not, and there's lots of time still to work for them. Lucy's tip about nurseries and Anna as well, they're all year round. So do your summer events with your nurseries as well. Contact your housing associations, your football clubs, every man and his dog that might want to connect with the books. And yeah, try old people's homes as well, because Anna, you sound like you've had a great time, to be honest, with the bands and everything else. So a massive thank you from all of us to Lucy and Anna. You were absolutely phenomenal, so full of tips, ideas, positivity, and they did it. You can do it. It is absolutely possible to sell and sell brilliantly in the summer, because these two did, and you should all be doing it too. And I look forward to seeing those Christmas packs flying out, loads of you in the prize draws, and seeing, some of you at LA and the All Partner event. Thank you so much, Anna and Lucy, and thank you so much to all of you for taking the time to come to this event. Thank you, goodbye.